Let's try that again. Hello, friends. It is Tuesday, December the 9th. Took yesterday off tidying to edit the video. Video's edited, uploaded, live for members right now, going live for everyone else tomorrow, which is very exciting. Absolutely thrilled by the idea that I might be able to make videos again because I really miss it. It's like 3:30. It's taken me all day just to get the house in order and the baby down. We'll see how long she stays down. She's been a little bit... Okay, so, tangent. In my youth, I was very into horses. Spent a lot of time with horses. Which means that when you say colic, I'm like, I know what that is. Turns out, babies also get colic, but we don't know what it is, or what causes it, and it doesn't really have a diagnosis. It's just like, yeah, baby seems upset. Probably colic. Like, guys, this is the raising of a whole brand new human being. Could we maybe just have a slightly more science-based approach? This is at least not as bad as the time I was telling the nurse that baby had been being kind of fretful in the evenings, and she looked me dead in the eye and said, "Have you heard about the witching hour?" Anyway, so what I thought was going to be my main focus for this week was going to be sorting the two desks and also taking stuff to the storage container. I was going to do that this morning. However, as relaxed as my approach to parenting is, I bulk introducing baby to her very first severe weather warning. So we stayed inside today. We'll try and get to the storage unit tomorrow because I need to drop off a few things and pick up my old computer because it turns out that's where my tax records are. However, I went looking for something this morning in the workroom, and as a result, there's just yarn everywhere, and I think we have to change tack a little. I think the first thing we need to tackle is moving the yarn. And annoyingly, I think the only thing I'm going to be able to do with that is pack it up and take it to the storage container, so it's probably just as well things have worked out this way. Even more annoyingly, I think the sensible thing to do here is going to be to vacuum pack it, which I know people have mixed feelings on. I'm still weighing it up, but I will say that the people saying you shouldn't do it because the yarn will get flat do seem to be slightly hyperbolic. Like, I've rescued yarn from thrift shop jumpers before. How hard can it be to reinflate? Anyway, like I said, still making up my mind on that one. We'll see if a better option presents itself. If it doesn't, we might just have to go with it. And baby's kicking off again, so I'll be back. So this is proving to be a lot more emotionally charged than I was expecting. It's one thing to be like, oh dang, I've got a lot of yarn, I should do something about that. And there's quite another thing to put all of the stuff that is really just this year's purchases in a pile and go, man, you guys, do you think nearly dying and then spending 4 months in hospital looking after an extremely premature baby messes with you and leads you to find some problematic coping mechanisms? There's nothing I can do about that now. This is what I've got, so we better just get things in some kind of order, because if we do that, then we're halfway to making it not a problem. This bag, I'm pretty sure, is all DKs that I got back in June. The plan was to make the 3-month size baby clothes out of a slightly heavier yarn because it would be winter. I mean, there's still a lot of winter left to go, so maybe we'll hang on to these for now. Big bag of acrylic I got in someone else's de-stash. I was going to make socks for my partner out of this on the knitting machine. Didn't quite get around to it. Another de-stash purchase. I think the plan here was a blanket. This is like 5 skeins of lace weight. I was thinking jumper. This is all cotton. I think I was thinking baby. They're not great colours. I might change plans there. Turns out baby is way too unhappy about this. This is like 5 balls of Sheepy's River Washed. I actually don't know where it came from. I didn't order this. Stylecraft factory sale. Also Stylecraft factory sale. We maybe need to address the Hobby yarn cakes. I blame Jack in the attic for alerting me that Hobby A exists and B has Halloween yarn. And since then, it's just real easy to have a look at what they've got on sale because they've always got something on sale. Also, I apologise if there are, mouth noises in this audio. It's not me, but she screams if I put her down. My plan with basically all of the yarn cakes, which there are a bunch, was blankets. I love crocheting blankets. I was really looking forward to a less fraught blanket experience after knitting her baby blanket, which at time of filming still not finished. If you've been following me on Instagram, you're aware of the saga. If you are not, 900 stitch I-cord bind off is all I'm going to say. These are my emotional support rainbow fades. The first 2 yarn advent calendars I ever got were both rainbow fades. I very quickly realised that wasn't what I liked because it felt like I had to use the fade in one single project, which meant that I needed a project that would use exactly 250 grams of yarn. These ones I know for a fact did not come in this year. They are 8-9 years old. No idea. This is something like 1.1 kilograms of wool. It's 100% baby alpaca. It's from Knit for Peace, so it was comparatively not that much money. I was thinking jumper. Now I'm considering snowsuit. Also Knit for Peace. I believe this is 100% cotton. Maybe jumper, maybe baby jumper, maybe matching adult baby jumper. Whole load of Malabrigo Chunky jumper. I believe this is 13 balls of white and 7 balls, 8? Maybe 8 balls of blue. Same yarn weight. There were 2 separate willow pattern jumpers I wanted to make. At this point, I should point out that I have knit 3 jumpers in my life, and I hated all of them. To be fair, they were all raglans, and I have since decided that raglans are not for me. But one of those jumpers was in Aran. One of them was also in Aran, and I was unemployed at the time. And the third one, which was in 4-ply, took me 6 years, and I don't even like it. Rowan Summer Tweed in 3 shades of pink. Baby. Even more yarn cakes from Hobby. Crochet blankets. Whole bunch of acrylic Halloween yarn. Crochet blankets. Halloween sock wool. Genuinely considering socks. Mini skeins. Those should probably go with the Hexipuff quilt. Plain black 4-ply for striping. I've got 5 balls of this Happy Sheep 100% wool bulky. This was a mystery bag from Hobby. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't 5 balls of the same yarn. Like, it's not bad. They're vaguely in a palette and it's 100% wool. I just somehow harder to know what to do with them. Couple of brightly coloured DKs and an Aran. Baby. Couple of fun hand-dyed plant-based yarns. Baby. But the summer edition. 4 balls of Rowan Kid Classic in a colour I would never have chosen for myself. These came in a mystery bundle. Still don't really know what I'm going to do with those, but a little part of my brain is like, ranunculus? This bag. Mystery yarns. A whole bunch of them are unlabelled, but they're quite obviously 4-ply. Some of them look hand spun. This one is either rayon or silk. Huge bag of drop sky blanket. So now here's the bit that's really going to bug me. I've got a whole bunch of my yarn clubs from this year. Only I know I got 3 skeins every month. So why can I only find 2 of this one? I don't know if anyone else gets this, but stuff like that, knowing that there's a third thing and it should be together because I want to use them together, but I can't find it. That's the kind of thing that will just like eat away at me. I don't know if it's like residual ADHD trauma or what, because I sort of have to assume that when I'm not looking at stuff, it's okay, because when I'm not looking at stuff, I forget about it. But at the same time, stuff is actually incredibly well catalogued in my brain, so I know that I have got every single month, and I know that I've got 3 skeins from every single month. I can remember unpacking this, even though this was July, July. I would not have unpacked this in the hospital, so there's no way that anything could have gone. Yeah, even June I didn't unpack in the hospital. Logically, the third one has to be in my workroom somewhere. But what if it isn't? This is why I also really hate other people touching my stuff. I know where my stuff is, I put it there, don't move it. Man, my daughter and I are going to have some fun conversations about room tidying in about 5 years. But let's not worry about that now. What I'm going to do is I've got 2 big vacuum bags, and I'll start with the loose stuff, and we'll just pack. And we'll leave those 2 out. They can go somewhere else. They'll just have to go somewhere else for now until I find the third one. I might have to properly go through the boxes that the other yarn is in. They'll be somewhere. Hello, it is Wednesday. It's now the 10th of December. We are almost halfway to Christmas and a third of the way through the month, so that's good. My camera battery is low, so this is going to be quick. Very productive morning. 1, I found the missing yarn skein. I put it in one of the other yarn boxes. Don't ask me why. I thought it was a good idea to split them up, but I did that. Anyway, it's fine. I found it. It's sorted now. Baby and I did 2 runs to the storage unit. I had to pick some stuff up, including my old computer, which has all my taxes information on it. So that's a fun job for me. The deadline is the end of January. I normally have this done in like August. I also grabbed a bunch of books that I want to donate and stuff like that. So all in all, very good, very productive. All that yarn is gone. Those boxes of mugs are gone. I still have a box of yarn that is too big for me to carry down on my own with the baby, but I have an idea for what I'm going to do with that, so fingers crossed. The next thing I need to do is just start on the desks. Hello, it's Thursday afternoon. Thursdays are always a bit weird because a whole bunch of stuff happens in the morning, and I realised I didn't really film yesterday, so let me just catch you up with what's going on. Okay, let's try that again, since someone decided they were not having a good time. Hello, let's see how far we get this time, because someone's been a bit grouchy. This is a bit more of a recap than an in progress because it's now Thursday afternoon, 10th of December. 10th? 11th. 11th of December. Good Lord. Nearly halfway to Christmas. Yesterday I did 2 runs down to the storage unit. I took away the 2 boxes that were full of mugs because for some reason I have extra mugs that I haven't figured out what I want to do with yet. The bag of empty bottles, and of course a whole bunch of the yarn. So all of the yarn that was already in bags, I pretty much left as is. I'm not worried about damp in the storage unit. I am a little bit worried about moths, but we will tackle that as and when it becomes a problem. In general though, the I think moths are unlikely. It's cold in there. Also, there are no soft furnishings except what other people are bringing in. That does mean that there's a small risk of other people bringing in, for example, moth-contaminated carpets and that spreading. But overall, I'm not super worried. I'm a little bit worried. And I did end up vacuum packing a whole bunch of the loose stuff. I started off deciding that I was going to vacuum pack just the acrylic and the cotton, because I figured those would survive the process the best. And then I was like, I don't care what happens to some of these yarns. And then I was looking at all of the tightly spun sock yarn and going, is that really going to be substantially damaged by being vacuum packed? Like, there's not a lot of loft in it to begin with, and I know it won't felt. So in the end, I vacuum packed a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll just have to deal with the consequences of that. Hopefully it won't be vacuum packed for very long, because hopefully I'll be getting through knitting projects at a decent rate. Yesterday evening I started work on the computer desk, which is where you are now, and I have made a couple of changes. So I've pretty much cleared the top. Actually, I can just show you. So the main thing that's happened is that I have cleared off the front of the desk. It's not perfect. There's obviously piles of stuff still that need to be sorted out, but a whole bunch of things have been cleared up. And I have also had a go at clearing and tidying the display shelves. A couple of things have come off, a couple of things have gone on. We have a little bit of a Labubu shrine going on here, but we'll figure that out. I'm not 100% sure I'm happy with it yet, but it's certainly better than it was. And this little cubby down here is now a little bit more practical. There's a few things that I want to get rid of, a few things that still need to be tidied away, but overall this is much better. However, I've barely started on underneath the desk, and we still have the slight problem of the drawers. So that's the next step. Finish clearing under the desk, and then the two drawers and the cupboard just need sorting. The cupboard's never really been useful, which I think just means that I need to figure out what would be a useful thing to put in the cupboard, and then avoid putting things in front of the door, which has historically been the main issue. I also think, so I have a whole heap of stickers, and I have a little bit decorated the inside with stickers, and I'm wondering if it would be cool to also decorate like the inside of the cupboard door and maybe under the desk, but maybe if it's more fun putting things in the cupboard, I will use it more. We shall see. Hello friends, it's Friday already. Before we get into tidying, a complete tangent. So if you watch a lot of historical costuming YouTube channels, at some point they will talk about historical costume and pregnancy. Basically the only thing they have to say about that is that it was fine, because everyone was pregnant all of the time, so obviously the clothes had to adapt, and you just laced everything looser. And at some point I realised that none of these people making these videos have kids. So I was like, go on then, let's test it. Started tracking how my different historical and historically inspired costumes fit as I went through pregnancy. Of course, that didn't go so great because the last footage I got was around 22 weeks. There's not a lot of bump action going on at 22 weeks. And then the baby was here, so nothing I could really do about that. However, I have very definitely gained a little bit of weight, even now, nearly 6 months postpartum. My Tudor kirtles are all lacing with they used to lace basically closed. They now have 1.5 inch gap in the front. Very doable. In theory, fine, working exactly as planned. The straps cut into the front of my shoulders. And this was the thing I could never get my head around, why people thought that this would just be fine, because yeah, the bust and the waist are fine. Your shoulders stay in the same place, and now that that gap's got bigger, the shoulders are shifting round towards the back even further. And I can understand with stays where you've got like the tie-on straps, or sometimes just like tape straps. I can understand how that's fine. That's not how these are made. These are attached straps, cut in one piece. It's quite uncomfortable. No one thinks about this. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that is what people did. However, I can tell you right now, they won't have been comfortable. Potentially what they would have done is just made the strap smaller. But this is a very narrow strap as it is. Or maybe just cut it off and shifted it over a little. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds. We're here to talk about tidying. So the computer desk is basically done, which is incredible. I genuinely thought that was going to take a lot longer. I eventually decided that if I wanted the cupboard to be useful, it was always becoming unuseful because I was always putting my yarn bowls in front of it because that was a convenient place to have them. So I've now put the yarn bowls in the cupboard. So hopefully I've removed one temptation to just block it off. I also put a bunch of random LARP stuff in that cupboard because that is the kind of stuff that I will go looking for, not that I need to see all of the time. And then finally I put my printer and a bunch of that stuff in there as well. I think it's a pretty good use of that space. I do still have stacks and stacks of stickers, so I think I am going to go ahead and do some subtle sticker decorating. So next steps, I need to get to the sewing desk, and the sewing desk is quite intimidating because there's a lot of crap on there. That needs a really good tidy. And then I do also think that the windowsills and the little corner that my bin is in needs a little bit of attention. But that's cool because that's I have 2 or 3, actually, if I break up the windowsills, little mini goals and then one big one. And fingers crossed, I think those 3 things are doable over the next 3 days. And then I'll take Monday to edit again. And after that, it's kind of just the work table, which is insane to me. Who knew that it was this easy all along to just tidy up? Anyway, I have a very wiggly baby doing banana poses on the baby monitor. I know she's too little for a baby monitor. It's only for 10-minute bursts. She's literally next door. I can see her and hear her. The door is open. Why am I defending this? This is why people don't get into parenting online, I think, way more than concerns about safety. Concerns about safety should be the primary point, but they're frequently not. However, I think people don't get into parenting stuff online because of the parent shaming. I have seen people in comment section parent shaming over kids who have not been conceived yet. Y'all are feral. Let's go rescue a baby and then let's crack on with the tidying. Remember what I said about clothing changes? I've changed, and she's changed, and it's still Friday. Bit of a weird angle, but there you are. There's a bunch of very weird random stuff on this windowsill. This is a broken necklace, so I need to find some way to contain all of these beads. I made this weapons loop for one of my first combat LARPs. Random little bags for the bag of bags, little wooden butterfly tags, and cake decoration reindeer. Your guess is as good as mine. Actually, no, I do remember. I was gonna make a headpiece out of these. I have no idea. This is really cute. I got this in Japan the first time, which means I've had it for 15 years, a little bit more. Oh, that's a collar. It's not in very good condition. Some of these bits of trim are so tiny, it's like, why did I keep this? Oh, these were also Japan the first time. They are doll-sized Japanese hair ornaments, which is really cool, but very specific. Broken plate. It's a long story. Oh dear. These are all bonus resin things that I made 7 years ago for a project. The problem is either I didn't cure them right or the resin wasn't very good and they are sticky. This trim is handmade from silk chiffon. I made meters and meters and meters of it for a cosplay first year of university. Was it last year of university? I don't remember. It was a long ass time ago. Never finished the cosplay and I've been kind of using this up ever since. Particularly nice bit of lace. I have all this pre-ruffled black fabric trim that I think came off a skirt that I didn't wear anymore. These are the sleeves off a dress that I made sleeveless because they didn't work, and I kept them, maybe thinking I would find a use for them, but the main thing is that they've got this lace trim on the cuffs. I think I'm just going to cut that off. Little crochet flower. That's what that black trim that I want to rescue looks like. It's pretty good. It looks like this was cut off something. I don't know what. Genuinely, a bunch of this stuff isn't originally mine. I sort of inherited it. Yeah, like that looks like it was a pocket on something. That's a whole lace neckline. This I do remember getting, but it was the wrong shade of pink for the outfit I wanted it for. Another sort of panel-y, pockety thing. This bow, again, I made for a cosplay. It's silk. Back is a mess and absolutely drenched in glue, which is yellowed over time. I should probably figure out something to do with this. I can't quite bring myself to throw it away. Cool embroidered trim. More reindeer. Piece of glittery black felt. Bit of ruffled organza. I do remember which costume this came from. It was the cathedral dress. Cool set of fairy lights. They're like little moons. I should use these. That's a whole load of leftover bias binding in a cotton check. I'll use that. This is a ton of plain cotton bias tape in like short bits. I have no idea what project this came from. Random bit of boning channel tape. It's big stuff, so I must have used it for a hoop skirt or something. I mean, I'll keep it, but I don't know what I'm going to use it for. More strips of heavyweight cotton, same as that bias binding. I think this was the Pequod dress. It didn't click until I pulled out more of it and remembered that that's the fabric that I used. That would make sense. So I've got a whole bunch of bits of fabric here. I've got random bits of bias binding, random strips on the straight grain, big scraps of this brown linen, a whole bunch of strips that came off. They're the hems off sheets that I used for other things. And I am now remembering I had a project in mind for that I've never gotten around to, but now that I'm looking at it, in theory, I've got a LARP I could wear that to, if I get to go. Maybe we take that idea out of the freezer. A lot of what's left in this tin is appliques. I've got big embroidered ones, got some that are beaded, got tassels, got absolutely hundreds of these little tiny iron-on ones. Got these stick-on hearts, some more military stuff, got a couple of big frog closures. I even have glitter bats. I think these need a better place to live, but we will sort all that in a second. That is all the keys off a broken keyboard. I just have handfuls and handfuls of broken jewellery. I also have, so I had a post-apocalyptic kind of character, and I made these like really elaborate adornments just out of tons and tons of broken jewellery pieces. I think that one actually hung like that. That was really fun. I really like that I've kept them. I would love to do more like this. I don't really do post-apocalyptic is part of the problem, right? But maybe that's a costume I want to revisit. I feel like I could do even more now. Well, I've got a whole ton more stuff. Let's start there, but also more time. I think before I actually used my Gunny Sacks dress and styled it sort of vaguely Western. Are those meant to be together or are they tangled? I think they're tangled. I think that's two separate bits. Yeah, one there, one there. Used a whole bunch of unfinished lace making bobbins as the basis for a lot of these. Yeah, that was a really fun. God damn it, I clear off a windowsill and now I have 2 whole new project ideas. Okay, well, it's Sunday night. Ideally, I want to edit this tomorrow so it can go up Tuesday for members, Wednesday for everyone else. Gotta give the members something, after all, they have been very good to me for those, 6 months where I basically didn't post. So far, not terrible. We got one desk sorted. I've cleared both windowsills. I haven't finished sorting out all of the stuff that came off the second windowsill, but that's a work in progress. I also got all the stickers in, and I took some stuff to the storage unit and I sorted the yarn. So actually, when you look at it that way, it's pretty good. Also, what I didn't show, because I didn't do it, is that my vintage sewing machine, the one that I love, the one that I have been using almost daily for 20 years, that broke last year, that has finally gone to the vets to be repaired. It should be fine. That's my Christmas present this year. I'm quite excited. Also, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm quite enthused to make things again. So I'm really looking forward to tackling the work table and the sewing desk, which are kind of like the last 2 things to get me over the line to starting to use up the fabric, because I think the last parts of the organisation are only really going to start happening when I start being able to use up the fabric and make space for them. That's cool. That's fun. I've got the bug again. I'm feeling excited about it. What a pleasant surprise. Anyway, that's enough of that. I have a million little bits of broken jewellery to pack into probably a tub, and you almost certainly have other things to be getting on with. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep the YouTube gods happy. Down in the description box you will find links to follow me on other places, a link to my Ko-fi page, and the link to become a channel member. Channel members get early access to all of my videos, plus a couple of other fun little perks like little badges and emoji. Both channel members and Ko-fi supporters also get access to a blog that I write about every month. I try and do it every month, but this year has been weird for obvious reasons. And that's where I just talk about what I've read, what I've watched, things I have consumed, and how I felt about them. It's fun. I get to make you listen to my extremely specific book feelings, because it turns out I am picky. Regardless of how you choose to support the channel, I couldn't do what I do without your help. Now more than ever. Anyway, dream big, and I'll see you very soon.